those. Okay. Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopidana Vallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopidana Jaya Gopidana Vallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Jaya Gopi Janavallabha Girivardhari Yashodanandana Brajajanarandana Yashodanandana Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jamuna Tira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Jai Shukad Paramahamsa Sri Radhika Sacharya Stotra Satya Sri Srimad His Divine Grace Srila Bhai Sharan Arvind Bhakti Vedanta Swami Sri Prabhupada Ki Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Skandi Biti Founder Charya Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada Ki Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Samaveta Bhakti Vrinda Ki Harinam Sankirtan Ki Grantara Srimad Bhagavatam Ki Tiny Tagore Pimanande. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to the assembled devotees. All glories to Sri Guru, to Sri Gauranga. All glories to Sri Prabhupada. Om Agyanatimirandasya Gyanjana Stalakaya Chakshurandritam Jena Tasmai Sri Gurave Namaha Sri Chaitanya Manobhistam Sapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahim Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Sri Guru Sri Juta Padakamalam Sri Gurun Vaishnavam Sri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunatan Vitam Tvam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Sri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Sri Vishakanvitam Hey Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopisha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Taptakanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Suti Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vansakalpatarubhyasya Kripa Sindhu Vyaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Sarasatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiraya. Before reciting the Srimad Bhagavatam, which is a very means of conquest, let us first offer respectful obeisances unto Narayana, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, unto Narayan Rishi, the supermost human being, unto Mother Saraswati, the goddess of learning, and unto Srila Vyasadeva, the author. Nasta Prayashabhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Tamasloke Bhaktir Bhaviti Naistiki. By regularly hearing the Srimad Bhagavatam and by rendering a service unto the pure devotee, all that is troublesome within the heart becomes destroyed, they're practically to nil, and loving devotional service unto the Supreme Lord, who is praised with transcendental songs, becomes established as an irrevocable fact. Idam Bhagavatam Nama Puranam Brahma Samhitam Uttama Charitam Chakara Bhagavan Rishi Nishreyasaya Lokasya Dhanyam Swasyaya Namaha. This Srimad Bhagavatam, known as the Grantha Raj, the king of all Vedic literatures, is the literary incarnation of God. It is compiled by the incarnation of God, the Srila Vyasadeva. It is meant for the ultimate good of all people. It is all successful, all blissful, and all perfect. Sri Krishna Chaitanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Sri Advaita Gadadhar,
Shri Advaita Gadadhar,
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta-vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare,
Krishna Krishna, Hare
Hare
Hare,
Rama, Hare Rama,
Hare Rama, Hare Rama,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare,
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya,
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 Om Sarabhyay Namaha,
Om Sarvaya Namaha,
Om Sarabhyay Namaha,
Om Sarvaya Namaha,
Om Sarabhyay Namaha,
Om Sarvaya Namaha.
Mukam karoti vasanam pangum langayate girim yatripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam yatripat maham bande Sri Gurum Dinataranam. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Good morning and welcome to our Bhagavatam class. We are accompanied by the chirping of birds in beautiful Sayadri mountainside. Nice. We are reading from, continuing here from Canto number 4, chapter 25, the characteristics of King Puranjana. Text number 14. Everyone can follow? Yes, yes. One. Can you, yeah, share your mobile? Okay. Yeah, small mobile. Prakara Upavana Atala Parikair Aksha Toranai Svarna Ropya Yasai Sringai Sankulam Sarvato Vihai Prakaro Pavanatala Parikair Akshatoranai Svarana Ropya Yasai Sringai Sankulam Sarvato Grihai Prakaro Pavanatala Parikair Akshatoranai Svarna Ropya Yasai Sringai Sankulam Sarvato Grihai Prakaro Pavanatala Parikair Akshatoranai Svarna Swarnaropya Yasai Shringai
Swarnaropya Yasai Shringai
Sankulam Sarvato Grihai
Ankulam Sarvato Grihai Prakaropavanatala Parikhair Akshatoranai Swarnaropya Sai Shringai Sankulam Sarvato Grihai
Prakaropavanatala Parikai Rakshatoranai Swarnarupyaya Sai Shringai Sankulam Sarvato Grihai Prakaropavanatala
Parikrairakshatoranai Swarnarupaya Yasyai Shringai
Swarnarupyaya Sai Shringai
Sankulam Sarvato Grihai
Sankulam Sarvato Grihai. One more.
Prakaro Rupavanatala
Prakaropavanatala
Parikai Rakshatoranai
Parikai Rakshatoranai
Swarnarupyaya Shringai
Swarnarupyaya Sai Shringai
Sankulam Sarvato Grihai
Sankulam Sarvato Grihai.
Prakara Rupavanatala
Prakaropavanatala
Parikai Akshatoranai
Parikai Rakshatoranai
Swarna Rupaya Yasai Singai
Swarnarupyaya Sai Shringai
Sankulam Sarvato Grihai
Sankulam Sarvato Grihai. Prakara walls Upavana parks Atala towers Parikai with trenches Aksha windows Toranai with gates Swarna gold Rupya silver Ayasai made of iron Sringai with domes Sankulam congested Sarvataha everywhere Grihai with houses. The translation and purport by His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. That city was surrounded by walls and parks, and within it were towers, canals, windows, and outlets. The houses there were decorated with domes made of gold, silver, and iron. Kindly repeat after me. That city was surrounded by walls and parks. And within it were towers, canals, windows, and outlets. The houses there were decorated with domes made of gold, silver, and iron. Looks like a nice place. Gold, silver, iron. Purport. The body is protected by walls of skin. The hairs on the body are compared to parks. And the highest parts of the body, like the nose and head, are compared to towers. Interesting. The wrinkles and depressions on different parts of the body are compared to trenches and canals. The eyes are compared to windows, and the eyelids are compared to protective gates. The three types of metal, gold, silver, and iron, represent the three modes of material nature. Gold represents goodness, silver passion, and iron ignorance. Kali Yuga, the age of iron. Yeah, Kali Yuga is described as the age of iron because majority of people are in tamagun, mode of ignorance. The body is also sometimes considered to be a bag, a bag. We're all sitting in the bag containing three elements, three dhatu, uh, mucus, bile and air, kapha, pitta, and vayu. Yasyatma buddhi kunate tridhatuke. According to Bhagavatam 10:84-13, one who considers this bag of mucus, bile and air to be the self is considered no better than a cow or an ass. Translation again. That city was surrounded by walls and parks, and within it were towers, canals, windows, and outlets. The houses there were decorated with domes made of gold, silver, and iron. So this is the beginning of the description of the city of nine gates. We're all of us living in this city of nine gates. Uh, and as Prabhupada mentions, actually the body, very, very elaborate, very intricate arrangement by nature, by Krishna's nature. And everyone becomes enamored or attracted with one's body. Everyone who is not Krishna conscious identifies with this body, becomes very concerned about this body, forgetting that this body is simply, as mentioned here, a bag. Uh, it is said that beauty is, what is it, skin deep. The skin is very thin. Very easily, if we hit or rub, we will cut and blood will come. Blood is very, very, it's just under the skin. The skin very, very thin. But it is so wonderfully arranged that everyone becomes captivated and illusioned by this bag of bone and flesh and mucus, etc., like that. And those who are thinking or identifying in this way, they are described as camels and asses. Means not very, not very intelligent. Yeah. So we'll just continue reading here the description that is being presented. Quite interesting. So text 15, I'll just read it and then go to the translation and purport. Nila spatika vaidurya mukta marakatarunai kipta almya stalim diptam Shriya Bhagavatim Iva. Translation and purport. The floors of the houses in that city were made of sapphire, crystal, my God, diamonds, pearls, emeralds, and rubies. Because of the luster of the houses in the capital, the city was compared to the celestial town's town named Bhogavati. Bhogavati. Purport. In the city of the body, the heart is considered to be the capital. If the heart stops to function, capital is closed. Just as the capital of the state is especially gorgeously filled with various high buildings and lustrous palaces, the heart of the body is filled with various desires and plans for material enjoyment. Such plans are sometimes compared to valuable jewels such as sapphires, rubies, pearls, and emeralds. The heart becomes the center of all planning for material enjoyment. And the analogy continues here. It goes on for quite some time, actually. So text 16, Sabha Shatvara Ratyabhir Akridayatana Panay Chaitya Dvaja Patakabhir Yuktam Vidruma Vedibihi. In that city, there were many assembly houses, street crossings, streets, restaurants, gambling houses, markets, resting places, flags, festoons, and beautiful parks. All these surrounded the city. Purport. In this way, the capital is described. In the capital, there are assembly houses and many squares, many street crossings, avenues and streets, many gambling places, markets, and places of rest, all decorated with flags and festoons. The squares are surrounded with railings and are devoid of trees. The heart of the body can be compared to the assembly house, for the living entity is within the heart along with the Paramatma, as stated in Bhagavad Gita 15:15. Sarvasya chaham ridi sanivisto mata smritir jnanam apohanam cha. The heart is the center of all remembrance, forgetfulness, and deliberation. In the body, the eyes, ears, and nose are different places of attraction for sense enjoyment, and the streets for going hither and thither may be compared to different types of air blowing within the body. The yogic process for controlling the air within the body and the different nerves is called susuma, the path of liberation. The body is also a resting place because when the living entity becomes fatigued, he takes rest within the body. The palms and the soles of the feet are compared to flags and festoons. Allegory. Yeah. Why is the heart compared here to, why is the heart the center of remembrance? Yes, because actually living entity is within the heart, and so is Paramatma, and all uh, remembrance and forgetfulness is actually coming. So many details are being described here. It means that actually the this body, those who those who become doctors. If someone wants to become a doctor, one has to study all the different parts of the body, which are very um, detailed, very intricate. Uh, and yes, uh, so this description is it's like yeah. We'll just continue to read here. Mm. Text 17. Puryastu bhahyo pavane divya druma lata kule nadad dihangali kula kula hala jala shayi. This is 17. On the outskirts of that city were many beautiful trees and creepers, encircling a nice lake. Also surrounding that lake were many groups of birds and bees that were always chanting and humming. Since the body is a great city, there must be various arrangements, such as lakes and gardens for sense enjoyment. Of the various parts of the body, those which incite sexual impulses are referred to here indirectly. Because the body has genitals, when the living entity attains the right age, be he man or woman, he becomes agitated by the sex impulse. As long as one remains a child, he is not agitated by seeing a beautiful woman. Although the sense organs are present, unless the age is ripe, there is no sex impulse. The favorable conditions surrounding the sex impulse are compared here to a garden or a nice solitary park. When one sees the opposite sex, naturally the sex impulse increases. It is said that if a man in a solitary place does not become agitated upon seeing a woman, he is to be considered a brahmachari. But this practice is almost impossible. The sex impulse is so strong that even by seeing, touching, or talking, coming in contact with or even thinking of the opposite sex, even in so many subtle ways, one becomes sexually impelled. Consequently, a brahmachari or sannyasi is prohibited to associate with women, especially in a secret place. The Shastras enjoin that one should not even talk to a woman in a secret place, even if she happens to be one's own daughter, sister, or mother. The sex impulse is so strong that even if one is very learned, he becomes agitated in such circumstance. If this is the case, how can a young man in a nice park remain calm and quiet after seeing a beautiful young woman? Hmm. There's so many aspects of this body are being discussed um, by way of comparison, uh, and here it mentions about uh, lakes and gardens for sense enjoyment. And of course, in the purport, Prabhupada speaks especially about uh, how in the material world, uh, one who is not a Krishna conscious, he will identify with his body, and uh, he will be just like in the Bhagavad Gita it mentions, Mana Shastrani Indriyani Prakriti Stani Karshati. Mm. Although the living entity, although we are that living entity within the body, Mamai Vangsho Jiva Loke, Jiva Bhuta Sanatana, we are that Jiva, that eternal Jiva in the body. But when we forget our identity, when we are not engaged in Krishna service, we identify with the body, and there's a natural inclination or a natural urge uh, to actually uh, enjoy these senses. And here, of course, it is uh, especially discussing about the uh, the sex urge. Uh, Sex urge is actually described as um, the perverted reflection. Uh, our attraction for the senses, uh, and of all the senses, actually, sex urge is the strongest, uh, is, is a reflection. It is described in the Shastra as a perverted reflection for the original attraction that is actually there between Krishna and the living entity. Um, so Prabhupada is in the purport explaining how in the Vedic culture, uh, this training, uh, brahmachari training, is therefore a very important aspect of the Vedic culture, uh, where one is uh, taught to mm, to live what is called uh, to be segregated. Segregated means to be separated. Uh, that's why in modern day system of education that is called co-education. Co-education means that boys and girls study together in school. This is not Vedic system. because there's a natural, at a certain age, when one becomes a little older, uh, that means when one becomes a teenager. Teenager means from the age of 13 approximately. Then, because the body naturally develops and the senses become very strong when one is younger, and there is a natural attraction between boys, boys and girls, men and women, which practically cannot be controlled unless one becomes Krishna conscious. We become Krishna conscious actually for the purpose of reawakening our original natural attraction to Krishna. If we don't develop our attraction to Krishna, we will develop our attraction for somebody else or something else. In other words, it is the what we call, it is natural for the living entity to be attracted. By nature, we are attracted. By nature, we are attracted because Krishna is all attractive. The very word Krishna means all attractive. In one purport, actually in the Bhagavatam, Srila Prabhupada quotes one of our Vaishnava acharyas, Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, who in a purport explains about what is called spiritual sex psychology. In other words, there is, if we can understand this aspect of attraction, Krishna is all attractive because he is pure and fully and always transcendental or spiritual. that in itself is is a very strong attraction. Actually, the whole what is actually attractive is what one experiences on the spiritual or transcendental platform. Bhakti, the process of bhakti, the process of devotion is actually the most attractive, but one can only understand or experience that if one is purified in consciousness. So therefore, there are two kinds of brahmacharis. What are the two kinds of brahmacharis?
Nice to know.
And the other kind? Prabhupada explains that there's a brahmachari who is brahmachari for whole life. That is called Naistika brahmachari. There's another kind of brahmachari that is called Grihastha brahmachari. Isn't it? One who Grihastha brahmachari means one who has been trained as a young man in brahmachari life, and even though he enters into family life, householder life, he still remains a brahmachari in that he will only engage in sex life for having children. Many years ago, one devotee who was serving His Holiness Gaur Govinda Maharaj. Many of you may not know Gaur Govinda Maharaj. He was one a proper disciple who was very strong preacher. When he was actually a householder from Orissa, and he was a teacher for many years as a householder, and he had, I think, 7 children. Yeah, I mean, nowadays to have 1 or 2 children, that is more or less the standard, but previously people had, okay, first time I hear peacock. Previously it was common to have many children. In my family we had like 6 children. My parents' family had 14 children. 14, 15 children was not uncommon. So anyways, coming back to Gaur Govinda Maharaj, after spending a number of years as a householder, so his children were growing up, so he understood the need and the importance to lead family life, which he did. He started traveling, and it just so happened that he traveled to many holy places, and one such holy place was in Vrindavan. He happened to come to Vrindavan when Prabhupada was in Vrindavan. That was maybe 1972, 73, something like that. And when people travel, very often sadhus, they will travel bare feet. And when you travel in India, your clothes is not very clean. You don't look very clean also, because one travels. So anyways, when he came to the Krishna Balaram temple in Vrindavan, he came to know that some foreign sadhus are there, and that one guru, he saw one sign. Sadhus, they walk around so many different places, so somehow Krishna brought him there to Krishna Balaram temple. I think they were just maybe very early, probably 74, yeah. And so he wanted to see Prabhupada, but the devotees didn't want him to see Prabhupada. Somehow I had to sneak in somehow, and he met Prabhupada. So Prabhupada asked him a few questions, and Prabhupada could understand that he was searching for Guru. He was serious about practicing spiritual life. So then in that first meeting with Prabhupada, just after asking just a few questions, Prabhupada could understand. So Prabhupada told him, I'll give you sannyas, which he did, I think, within a relatively short time. So he became Gaur Govinda Swami, and there was one devotee from America serving him, because Prabhupada told him, you will translate all my books into Oriya, because he was from Orissa, and he was a teacher, so he knew English, and naturally his mother tongue, Oriya. And he said, you go to Bhubaneswar and start a temple and preach. So he went to Bhubaneswar from Orissa, started to preach, and it was not easy early days. Some land was donated where we have our temple now. At that time, I remember visiting, it was just like nothing there, like Juhu also, like just trees. Anyway, the devotee who served him, his name was Bhagavat. Later on he became sannyasi also. So after the passing away of Gaur Govinda Maharaj, he was, recalling one time some of his pastimes with Gaur Govinda Maharaj, and he told that Govinda Maharaj told him one time that in my life, I uh, I had sex life 7 times. I have 7 children. I had sex life only 7 times. That is called Grihastha Brahmachari. Grihastha Brahmachari. So, very important, most important aspect actually in if we want to advance in spiritual life, we must understand about this body, we must understand about the mind and the senses, and how if we are not, yes, if we are not Krishna conscious, if we're not serious about Krishna consciousness, then we will, our mind and our senses will be attracted to material things, isn't it? And the more we allow our mind to be attracted in this way and our senses, then this makes it very difficult to actually advance in Krishna consciousness. And that is why, as Prabhupada nicely explains here, there is a separation between boys and girls in the Vedic culture. There is education for boys, there is education for girls. There is occupation for boys, there is occupation for girls. Which is, of course, not followed in modern day society, and therefore there are so many problems. So therefore, brahmachari life is very, very important. And proper, what is it, proper arrangement, proper segregation needs to be there. So in this way, one will be more easily be able to practice spiritual life. So this is being explained here somewhat. Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu actually was very strict on this point. It is mentioned that if any Mataji wanted to even pay obeisances to Lord Chaitanya, Mataji had to pay obeisances like 20 feet away, not close, but to speak of, touching the feet like that. Mahaprabhu was very, very strict, very ideal. One time, Mahaprabhu had one servant by the name of Govinda. Well, no, Govinda. Govinda was a personal servant of Lord Chaitanya. And one time, I think this was in Jagannath Puri, Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu heard some very nice singing. He heard someone singing. Some people sing very nicely, isn't it? Music, it mentions here. Music, we're attracted to beautiful sound. Or just like when we see nature is very attractive. Beautiful sound is also very attractive. So, upon hearing this very nice, some people have very nice voice, can sing very nicely. Some people can play nice instruments. Some people can play mridanga very nicely, others not so nicely. Some people can play cartels nicely, others better than not play cartels. So when Lord Chaitanya heard this very beautiful singing, he started running. He started running, and Govinda was running behind Lord Chaitanya, because Govinda knew that this singing is singing of a woman was singing, but Mahaprabhu was not aware of that, and he was coming closer and closer to where the sound was coming from, and he was about to embrace that person. Actually, immediately Govinda caught him, and Govinda told him, it is a woman singing. And immediately when he heard that, that's described in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu stopped and he told Govinda, you saved my life. You saved my life. Yeah. So nowadays, in modern day society, this is not understood, this is not followed, and therefore so many problems are there. But there are many many good reasons why even nowadays Matajis are not properly trained. Prabhus are not trained, Matajis are not trained. You know, sometimes in Mayapur we see brahmachari, saffron color, riding on a rickshaw with Mataji. This is not, you know, one needs to be very cautious, as instructed here by Srila Prabhupada. In brahmachari actually should not talk to Matajis. Unless it's for some particular service, but it should be very short, and otherwise not. Yeah. So any questions on brahmachari life? We have few brahmacharis here.
But while traveling, train or bus, you cannot avoid the crowd.
In India, very difficult to avoid crowds, definitely. Especially in India. So what to do?
That's what I.
You see, I mean, I fly, when I fly, you know, it's like I'm sitting, let's say, on one side, and husband and wife, they, you know, and I'm, you know, saffron color, right? Husband and wife. The husband allows his wife to sit beside me, you know, and I can't say anything, of course. Now I can't tell her, sir, why don't you sit here? You know, I mean, culture practically is like lost. Someone who is intelligent, he will understand that, okay, I should sit beside the Swami, right? Not my wife. Recently, I was traveling, and you know, it happened twice like that. One couple was there, and you know, I couldn't say anything, and what to do? I mean, you just have to. And the airplane is like crowded. I mean, we cannot avoid crowds in India, and so one has to just absorb one's mind and at least mentally chanting if you can't verbally be chanting. That's why it's also recommended that brahmachari should travel with another brahmachari, or with can also travel with a grihastha, but brahmachari or anyone for that matter should not travel alone. Other question? We have so many brahmacharis here. Young brahmacharis, older brahmacharis, new brahmacharis. No question. In the Vedic culture, everyone is actually everyone should follow brahmachari life. One attends Gurukula. One of the most important aspects of Gurukula is to follow brahmachari life. Brahmachari life means to not associate with Matajis and to, as the verse is explaining, tapasya brahmacharyena samenacha damenacha. Brahmachari life is meant for tapasya. Actually, human form of life is meant for tapasya, to control our mind and to control our senses. Dogs, they cannot control their mind. Dogs, cats, all animals, other species, they don't have the ability to control their mind, to control their senses. Therefore, we say they act according to instinct, and they follow their force. Actually, they're forced to follow the dictates of the mind and the senses, because they have mind also. Dog has mind and senses, and some food is there, immediately he will go to that food, isn't it? No control. But we have ability. That is the special feature of the human body, human form of life. We have the ability to control our mind and to control our senses, isn't it? And to begin practicing Krishna consciousness, which will allow us to completely put an end, actually, to activities of sense gratification, especially in the matter of sex life. Okay. 7:15, is it? What? 7:30. Okay. So we have time for some chanting. Jai Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai Srila Prabhupada ki Jai Gauda Simanam.
His Holiness Bhakti Raghava Swami Maharaj ki
Jai.